Hey friends, Randy Turpin here again. The world's most novice as it relates to ham radio. I just want to give you an update on some of my findings. If you don't want to be receiving these periodic video updates, you can just say, "Hey Randy," in not in the comments on YouTube, but probably like however you're getting this. If I'm sending this to you by text or email or Facebook Messenger, just comment, said, "Hey, I'm going to bow out," or whatever, and I'll stop sending these to you. If you're still considering it, you might want to consider just staying plugged in. I am probably pretty soon, within the next week or two, starting a separate YouTube channel just dealing with this journey all the way from novice, hopefully all the way up to general license eventually. But anyway, I just want to give you some updates. Number one, do your own research, please. Do your own research regarding what radio you get to start with. I mean, some of you might prefer to start with the base station. Okay. I personally wouldn't advise it, because until you really know whether or not this is something you're going to stick with, that's why I went with the cheap route. If I get into it and say, man, this isn't worth all the time and the effort, then I can bow out and haven't lost much money at all. But I would say do your own research on the radio. Do your own research on things like the terrain around where you live. If you live like sandwiched between two mountains, I'm not saying that you can't participate in this, but it's a little more challenging. All right. And I'm not going to try to talk about all the solutions for that just yet. There's certainly people that know more about this than I do. So do your own research. This may or may not be something that you'll want to put the effort in. I like the challenge of it myself. Okay. The second thing, I know that some of you that are in West Virginia and some other places, quite a distance from me, Colorado or wherever, I'm in Middle Tennessee, and I have this dream of connecting with some of you by ham radio. Is that possible? Yes, it is, but it's not easy. Okay. There is not a lot that's easy about this, unless you're just using this as a walkie-talkie kind of thing, wanting to talk back and forth to someone else, within 10, 20, 30 miles, something like that. The other thing you want to be aware of, it's pretty much line of sight, meaning that if you've got a mountain or something between you and that other person, it's going to be difficult. Unless you're using high frequency. There's the level of frequencies are this: high frequency, very high frequency, and ultra high frequency. Okay, HF, VHF, and UHF. You can communicate as you get into this. Licensed operator, you can communicate in that spectrum of ranges, I believe. I know you can. I think there's one frequency or a very minimal, small amount of high frequencies you can use. Very high frequencies where most of it is. I think UHF too. I think so. Yeah. So, but why am I saying all of that? It's high frequency is what people use. That's that lowest range, believe it or not. That's actually the one that people who boast of talking to people on the other side of the planet, other countries, and great distances, that's where they communicate. But we're, as technician level operators, limited as to how much of that we can actually use. You can use a certain amount of it. But high frequency has the ability to bounce around things, to kind of flow over things. It bends. It can bend with the terrain. Not so with very high frequency and ultra high frequency, which is where most of technician level operators function. So, which means, what does that mean? Like, I just now experimented. I had to drive about 15 miles to go pick up some groceries in just a few moments. And I just tried using my radio, turning it on, letting it run here in the car. I didn't hear any transmissions. Okay. The reason I did that, because sometimes when people are on the highway, they'll use the radio almost like you would a CB radio or something. Didn't pick up anything, but wasn't really surprised because I am in a metal box. Notice that? Which really hinders the ability to send and receive. Of course, I'm not doing any sending because I'm not licensed yet. What I need to get next to experiment with this is a magnet mount antenna for the top of this car that I can take off when I'm not using it, with a cable running from here up at the top all the way to the antenna, running through one of my windows here, partly cracked. You got to be careful if you do that not to pinch the cable too much. They make things that make it a little easier to protect that cable, but initially I'll just be rolling it up, leaving a little bit of a crack and running it out. There's other ways to do it. Won't get into that right now. But if you plan to use this, which most people that get these, that's the next step they take, it seems, going to using it as a mobile in their vehicle. So you would have like a magnetic mount. They also make one that doesn't work quite as well, but it actually is like a clip on your window. You know, you put it up on your window. Here, if I did it, I'd put it on the one back there, the one behind me. And there's an antenna on the clip on the outside, and the cable runs to it on the inside. That's one way to do that. So, yeah. Okay, what about this dream I have of talking to you folks in West Virginia and Colorado and all that? Well, you have to use repeaters to accomplish that, pretty much. Repeaters. And what I've discovered is the repeaters that really accomplish that well are the ones that are connected to something called EchoLink. EchoLink. What is that? It's actually an internet connection between repeaters. Let's say I want to talk to somebody in Colorado, then I would connect with an EchoLink repeater, which there is one about within 20 miles of me here. Connect with that one, and that repeater by internet could connect with a repeater in Colorado, and from there I would be able to talk to friends in the Colorado area, theoretically, at least what I hear. Same thing for like in West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, wherever you are. So it is a little complicated, but it can be done. Please don't run away just because it's hard. Now, if you're already dealing with a lot of hard stuff in your life, well, I am too. I'm dealing with some challenges in some areas, but I don't know. Maybe you don't need one more thing to add to your plate. All right. But hey, if you're up for the challenge, let's continue the journey together. All right. God bless you.